So good morning everyone. We'll now continue on the special quality of the three places where the forefathers, Avraham, Yitzchak and Yaakov, they made sure they would purchase them according to all legal systems, for which they paid a great deal of money. Well known, Avraham Avinu for Marat HaMachpelah in Hebron. Yitzchak Avinu didn't pay any money, but he was ready to pay for his life. And this was the most difficult test of Avraham Avinu, when he was asked to offer up his son on Har HaMoriah. So this is really, to understand this, it was already designated by the Creator of the world as the most holy place. To understand this more deeply, how does this compare to the purchase from the Canaanites and the Hittites of Hebron, which became the eternal possession of Am Yisrael as a result, even at the time when, from the point of view of all the other nations occupying the area, it did not belong, Marat HaMachpelah, to Avraham and his descendants, but as it was sold b'Kesed Maleh according to all the laws of the Hittites, so this was considered the eternal possession of the descendants of Avraham Avinu. But Har Moriah was purchased before Avraham was in the world, before Noach was in the world. When Hashem created the world, He created this place, Moriah. What's Moriah mean? The teacher is God, More Ka, More Yud Kei. The teacher of mankind, how they're supposed to live, already had a place in the world with the Shekhinah. The Rambam, who is one of the deepest thinkers ever, of the whole world, certainly the people of Israel, at the same time was also a master. None like him. Moshe at Moshe, lo kam Moshe. Moshe ben Maimon. So he designates, doesn't say it's just an Akkadic passage. Hashem chose that place from the beginning to the place of his Shekhinah, of his divine presence. And that's why when Adam brought an offering, he brought it there. Cain and Heva, the dispute was really about that area, the area around Har Moriah. And Noach brought his offerings there, as also apparent from the text, and goes into a bit more. But it was, as it were, designated to bring the whole of mankind to preserve their divine image, their connection with the Shekhinah. What's the connection of man with God? It comes through the Mut Elokim. Tselem Elokim bara oto. And where can you see that? You can see it in the description given in the Chumash of Adam HaRishon, and then of Noach, and then of Avraham. So Avraham he reached his pinnacle, also with his test, where he is willing really to serve Hashem and not serve for himself. He wanted to understand the Akedah more deeply. can say that it's not to regard love, morality, and a deep investigation of nature to be the way whereby we come to a knowledge, a certain knowledge of the God, of mankind. But the Akedah was a situation in which Avraham Avinu had to give up love. He had to give up the highest emotions of a spiritual nature. He had to give up morality. He had to give up all that, let's call it scientific investigation of nature, teaches us that the created world must have a creator. Through all the high levels of purposefulness we find in every aspect of creation works in harmony, and which is these days really is what's called the basic method of scientific investigation, which proves that the whole of the universe comes from a spiritual power above the universe, the Creator. So Avraham Avinu, who possessed all these qualities, and he taught people all these qualities, to come near to the awareness of God, should not allow the existence of God in his mind and deep in his heart to be the result of his human power of love, of his human ability of logical thinking, that all things that are caused must have a first cause. But you should rather regard God as the source. God is the source of all these things, which is really, and it really has been described in the Midrashim in that way, and is also found as the most fundamental book on existentialism. Was produced by someone called Kierkegaard, who in fact in his work called Fear and Trembling, he puts in philosophical terms what is said explicit in the Midrash on the Akedah. And he built existentialism on the way in which Avraham Avinu came to recognize that if you really believe God is the ultimate certainty, if you come to that level, then you recognize that He is the one who gives the human being all these great qualities, whereby he's able to come through his human self to reach the divine power that is above himself. So that's really the existential level of the Hamuriya. And God did not want to take the life. On the contrary, He taught Avraham Avinu, you're not allowed to take lives. You're not allowed to slaughter your son as an offering. In practice, it's even worse than any form of murder and suicide. It's the worst type I could think of. So we must say that Hashem, He put it into the experience of Avraham Avinu what exactly is rooted in what's called existentialism. What's called the atheistic existentialism developed later under Jean Sartre, later on. He said, since philosophy and science and all other ways in the world, they don't bring us to any real purposefulness and understanding of what is life, therefore we just have to accept everything as having no meaning and just live with it because there's no meaning. One of his major disciples was a Jewish philosopher called Levin, and he became Baal Teshuvah when he had an understanding of Judaism. And even Sartre himself would say in his last stage, he recognized that he'd gone the wrong way. So, I'm just saying this, that it's all connected with the service in the temple. Because in the passage of the Akedah, it says that Hashem Yisborach, He accepts the ram in the place of Yitzchak Avinu. Because Yitzchak was ready to give up his life for Hashem in such an extreme way. So the idea is, when the people of Israel after became the ram of Hashem, and in the Parsha of Akedah it says, because it says two very important verses. It says there, because Abraham and his son, they together went through this very difficult test. It says, now I recognize you, Abraham, you're truly called fear. Your own fear, your spirit of your being entirely subject to a higher power, this I recognize now more than anything else. That God, or to recognize, I want to put it this way, you know, in the mitzvot of the Torah, many of them we can understand, many are chukim, which you don't understand. We have to recognize Hashem is the source of the human mind. He gives potential to the human mind to think every minute. So that's the high level reached by Abraham and Yitzchak. And therefore he said, now I know you, Shemayim, and because of that, your seed will inherit this land, this city. But it says more, it says, Eichar Oyevav. They will inherit the gate of the enemies of that nation. And there will come a time when other nations, in fact, the time has come now more than it's ever come before. It says that your seed, the nation which will come from you, it'll be a great nation, and they will inherit the gate of the enemies, Oyevav. Now if we analyze the words of the Chumash, there are two major words used for the enemy of Israel. One is Sonei, and one is Oyev. And if you go through the whole Chumash, you'll see all the hints in Chumash, what will happen even at the end of days, means the end of the 6,000 cycle of human history, from the birth of Adam. So then you find there are two major enemies of the people of Israel. One comes from Ishmael, who's called Oyev, and one comes from Esau, who's called Sonei. They were really the ones who were part of the heritage of Avraham Avinu, but they didn't keep to it properly. And because they were given the chance to join in, they didn't want to join in. And they went in the wrong direction and were no longer part of the true Zera Avraham. True Zera Avraham made Yaakov Avinu and all his descendants. But Yitzchak Avinu had a descendant called Esau, and Avraham Avinu had a descendant called Ishmael. And they were rejected from the heritage of Avraham. He gave them blessings, yes. They both gave blessings to their sons, but different blessings. Not blessings to inherit this land, and not blessings to have the holy place in the land, which is the place from which God becomes the teacher of mankind, Moriah. That's what it's referred to in Bereshis, and that's what's referred to by Shlomo HaMelech when he built the Beit HaMikdash. So that's Yitzchak. Then we come to Yaakov Avinu. So he had a big struggle to be the real inheritor of Avraham Avinu. And he had to perfect himself. Because he also had very great difficulties in his life. In order to raise a family, he had to go and leave Eretz Israel and also because he had to leave Eretz Yisrael because he had to flee from his brother wanted to murder him. Then he had the big test also when Esau came to murder him together with 400 men, and he found a way to release himself from it. And then he still had to struggle to keep up his high level. When he was to Chutz La'aretz, when he came to Eretz Yisrael, the way, so in the middle of the night, he had a big struggle with the prince of Esau, the prince we call, each nation's got its prince through which Hashem conducts to some extent his story. History is a combination of God's guidance with mankind, with the nations of the world also. Nations of the world, his connection is more indirect. Goes through Malachim, through certain national characteristics which are archetypes of these nations. And when the Jews go into Golos, they have to struggle very hard to preserve their true identity. And this was also the premonition shown in the struggle between Yaakov and Sarah Shel Esau, where he came out limping. He came out because he came out from the night. The nighttime represents the galut of the people of Israel in the future. It might also have big struggles to survive as a nation. I mean, 10 sons, 10 tribes coming from Yaakov Avinu disappeared from human history and were intermingled with the other nations. And the other tribes that remained, they went to Babylon. Then after they came back, there were only a few came back. They were scattered all over the earth. That goes through the galut, the night of the struggle with the Sarah Shel Esau. But that's only Ad Rosh Hashanah, till the dawn comes, and then the sun heals the limping Yaakov, and he becomes Shalem. He comes to Shechem, the center of Eretz Yisrael, comes back, and then he becomes Shalem Torato, Shalem Gufo. First of all, his body is healed, his physical aspect, and also his Torah is restored to him on the highest level, and also he becomes rich. So what's he do with his riches? The first thing he wants to do is to buy, with whatever money is demanded, a field. And that's the field in Shechem, in which after Joseph was buried. So there are 3 holy places. And those 3 holy places, they were also part of what happened when Am Yisrael went into Eretz Yisrael. Really, they already possessed these 3 places, and they paid heavily for all of them, all 3. Especially the first and the last. In simple terms, they paid an enormous amount of money that it belonged to them and their descendants forever. Avram Hebron and Yaakov Avinu Shechem. Now, if one understands more deeply, when Am Yisrael afterwards were able to enter Canaan by the command of Hashem under Yeshua, and they were accompanied by many miracles, so they also they gained automatic possession, one might say, of Hebron and also of Shechem. And one of the first things they had to do, I mean, Hebron was already, as it were, known, because the forefathers were buried there. So it was already a proper burial place as well for the Jewish people, for the forefathers and the matriarchs of Am Yisrael. But what happened to Shechem? So it's what it says at the end of the Chumash, and then it's described also in Sefer Yeshua. When Am Yisrael entered Eretz Yisrael, they had to go to Shechem. Now Shechem has 2 larger hills on both sides. One is called Harival, and the other one is called Hagrizim. So it says Har Gerizim is a mountain of blessing. Haival is a mountain of curse. It's called Har Bracha, Har Gerizim. Har Gerizim is covered with foliage. Things can grow there. That's why there's also places there today. Har Gerizim, no, the Shomronim have the village there. Elon Moreh is a flourishing village for Am Yisrael. The mountain on the other side, Haival, is rocky, nothing can grow there. And it always says, it's being Parshas Re'ah, Am Yisrael command, when you come to Eretz Yisrael, you should put the blessing on Har Gerizim and the Klala on Haival. How would you do that? It's described even. The tribes divided into 6 and 6 on each side of the mountain, and the Levium went in the valley, and then the Levium, they pronounced all people who will perform. That's how it should be done. It's described how it was done under Yeshua. All people who, how it says in the Chumash first, I'll explain how it actually took place. Chumash, it said, all the people, they turned, the Levium turned to the heads of the tribes part on the mountains, and they said that every person who does any sin in secret, he's be cursed. But the truth is, first they said, everyone does the opposite. Who makes sure he doesn't do a sin in secret. Who in secret doesn't worship idols. In secret does not do immoral acts and adultery and other forms of immorality. In secret does not swindle and hurt other people, especially those who are weak and helpless, the widows and the orphans. You'll find the whole list of the 12 different blessings and curses, which was said, only deal with doing things in secret. Things that are done in public, so for that, you can have the courts of justice, you can have the police force to deal with them different ways. And even secrets which people admit they want to get atonement for, they go to the Beit HaMikdash. But sins that people do in secret, that have to be accepted by the tribes. We don't believe in the distinction between public and private morality. Hashem Yisborach is the master. It's true. There's no way in which human courts can deal with it. But we want the people of Israel have to be willing to keep morality even if there's no possibility of any finding out. In other words, the 11th commandment, often quoted in
not be found out.
Is
not be found out.
Thou shalt not be found out. Well, that's the major, and unfortunately, the major place where sins are done when you can't find out about it. Because sometimes they ruin a country from inside. So therefore, we're given here in this. Where did it take place? In Shechem. So we see it now like this. Shechem became the place where Am Yisrael, they accepted as a whole, all the 12 tribes, they re-accepted Torah. And Torah, we know, Yaakov Avinu is Amud HaTorah. Yitzchak Avinu is Amud HaAvodah. And Avraham Avinu is Amud HaChesed. When Shimon HaTzadik says, Shimon HaTzadik lived at the time when the Greek philosophers started debating with many different opinions. What are the fundamental aspects that uphold the existing world? So Shimon HaTzadik says to them, he says it not in his own name, he says he was Mishayore Knesset HaGedolah, major principles in life of these three. also for the non-Jew. It means we've got three types of relationships in life. Relationships with fellow man, relationships with our own inner self, to be able to direct it in a moral manner, and then relationships between man and God. This is the three principles, ala Torah, ala Vodah, Gemilut Chasadim. Torah is relationship with ourselves, to make it more perfect. That's Yaakov Avinu, Ish Tam, Yosef Oalim. What is it that can make a person be able to judge himself and bring himself to follow the ways that leads to Tzelem Elokim? That's Torah. The Shem mitzvah given to Bnei Noach, they should accept them inwardly, not only outwardly. They should be willing, at least on the minimum level, not to murder, not in their own hearts. You've got to get an inner outlook. If you and people know this. Unfortunately, I mean, we know it. We teach children right Torah Tzivalana Moshe. We teach the child right away. The child's got to bring into his inner self how he's got to manage his own life, to see his life has a purpose. That's Torah. Torah, different levels of age, different levels of people. Torah for the Gentiles, Torah for the Jews, Torah for the Kohanim. Each one how to be able to organize it up. Who is the model for this? Yaakov Ish Tam, Yosef Oalim. Yaakov is the Amud HaTorah. And that's why the Torah was received again after Sinai by the people of Israel in the land of Israel in Shechem. Shechem therefore also became the part of which Yaakov Avinu was willing to pay everything. And then we have Avodah, that's Yitzchak. That's why Yiras Zarech et Sha'ar Levav. The future of how to worship Hashem and everything Hashem is in Yerushalayim, not only for the Jewish people, but for the whole of mankind. Because all the prophets say, ultimately, the teaching of Hashem will go out from Zion. Yimitzion Tetzei Torah v'chol ha'olam, to go to the whole world. To go to the whole world, that is even written on the walls of the United Nations. We're very disappointed that we thought that it's just been elected a replacement for the previous president of the United Nations, and the new one has come out right at the start. Obviously, right at the start, they found 6 or 7 things to complain about Israel without mentioning Venezuela or any other country. But Israel straight away came out from the mouth of this new head against Israel. In Israel is really, in so many respects, if all the nations were peace-loving as Am Yisrael, then Mitzvah Hashem would be very near the Gula. So this is the situation we face today. So now I'm going to just read you this short aspect here, which is very deep. A few words of Rav Dessler at the bottom of page 129, that just do the last part. Va'inyan hu, last few lines. שכל השפעת הקדושה שבחוץ לארץ באה דרך שרי אומות. The influence of holiness in חוץ לארץ comes via the we'll call it more natural flow of events. Why more natural? They flow through the particular characteristics of the nations of the world. That derech midotei shel ha'am. It goes through the specific quality of that nation, and also the nation where Israel stay. If the Jews are in a certain nation, then they naturally, after generations, they adopt some of the qualities of those nations. And that's why we find the influence in Eretz Israel comes directly from Hashem on a higher level, but from the nations of the world, it goes through specific qualities. That's why we find the different types of Jews that come from the Galut, and they take with them some of the qualities which can be used for Torah. But they're much more easier to use in the Torah in Eretz Israel. So there we have here this, anyway, go back to the situation today, that these three most holy places, which surely belong to the Jewish people from the history of mankind from the beginning, and especially from what the forefathers acquired, the case of Malay, there we find also that as far as these three places are concerned, they were not conquered at any time, Jewish people. In other words, Shechem and Hebron, they were paid for right from the start. So they paid in full. They weren't originally taken by conquerors, they were originally taken by full payment, according to all standards of international law. And also Yerushalayim, which they could easily have conquered, they did not conquer it. Not conquered. It was also paid in full by David HaMelech to Arvan Haivusi, and when he had a prophecy that there was time to build the Beit HaMikdash. He even saw the plan of it and prepared it for his son Shlomo. He built the Beit HaMikdash, which is there as a central place of worship for the Jewish people, to become a kingdom of priests and a holy nation for the whole world. Do you have any questions?
In the beginning, we tested Abraham. He said, "Truly, I know that you fear Hashem." But the Kodesh Baruch Hu knows everything. So if he knows everything, so he already knew it.
And therefore, what's your question?
Why test him?
Why
test him? Why test Abraham if he already knows the answer?
There's a different way to test him. The simple explanation is that in order the person should reach a high level, let's say in sport, he has to test himself or get tested by somebody else. If you want to reach the highest jump, you want to be the high jump champion, so you're a jumpy type of person, so much better get somebody to guide you. If you want to go intensively, you have to have a guide. But it's not that the one who's training you to reach the high championship, he has to make sure that you don't take too high a jump. Also, you don't keep too long on the low jump. Otherwise, it's got to find the time when he can test you to go further. Now, let's say this trainer of the champions, so he'll only take someone for training if he sees, I see you, because you have to have, if you want to go in for this, there's only one way. You have to take a diet, you have to take exercise, all sorts of conditions. And I can see potentially you can reach that level. But I'm not sure that you will. All depends how much you listen to me. And if we keep on testing you more and more difficult, that's how I do it. I won't make it too difficult, because then you'll break your neck. You take a too difficult jump, and you jump and break your bones. And I won't make it too easy, because then if you start relaxing too much, you're out of the game. You can never when you've got to be at it. You've got to have enough rest, enough right food, enough exercise, and you've got to keep to it. So, Same Hashem does with human beings. With each human being. Hashem tests every person. We say to Hashem, what's Nisayon come from? The root Nisayon. What's the verbal root of that word?
Miracle. Nes.
What?
Nisayon, Nes.
Nes, what's a Nes?
Nes is what Moshe Rabbeinu gave to Am Yisrael when they did the Chet.
What's the verbal root of the word Nes?
It's
Nisayon. It's a verb.
It's a flag. It's
Nes is a high.
What? If you want to know Hebrew,
to put up your eyes.
if you go to the root of Hebrew words, let's try to learn Hebrew.
Nun Samachin, that's up. Nisa.
It's a flag.
But that is related also to the word. There's a relationship phonetically and also in Hebrew, grammatically, or linguistically, let's say, between Nun Sin Hey or Nun Sin Aleph and Nun Samach Hey. They're all related words. The real root is to go up, to lift up. Naso was last week's parsha. Naso, lift up. A mast in a ship is called a nes. It goes right up and shows you, sometimes on the flag also, whom the ship belongs to. Nes is something that's right above nature. And Nisayon is there to lift up a person. How do you become greater? Through growing up, reaching a higher level. That's the concept behind Nisayon. Look, you've got a baby. Baby starts crawling, then starts crawling, starts to sit up. Naturally, it's the nature of the human being that he has in himself the power to grow. If unfortunately a person got a child, the child is spoon-fed, obviously, has to still be a long time, but the child just lies still, doesn't move much. You have to see how you get that's not the normal growth. The normal growth means always with children, they by themselves they try. They need guidance because sometimes also they don't go quick enough. But more often they go too quick. Then they topple over, they get hurt. Therefore they need guidance. Same thing. We need to keep on growing in life. If you don't grow, you decay. That's what happens. You don't grow. In physically, and also mentally, and also morally. You've got to keep on growing morally. So who can guide us morally? Hashem. He guides morally through the Torah. He gives guidance in everything. Everything is in a certain measure. You do things more, it's forbidden. But don't do more or less. Because Hashem has given us the right way to create a balance. We all need balance in our lives. When you lose your sense of balance, it's a difficult situation. And I'm now a witness to it. I fall on my head, losing my balance, but since then, can't walk straight. That applies to all of us. Yeah? Sometimes in other things also, we haven't followed the balance in other areas. So Hashem has given us the balance. Also the balance, you should look after yourself better. Try not to fall on your head. That's how it happens. So this is life. And that's the concept of Nisayon. Because you won't reach anywhere in life, you've got to go and make progress in a balanced manner. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Science and non-science. I believe, if I understood an earlier statement, that science proves there's a spirituality to the world, either to man or to the creation of the universe. Science presents a hypothesis and then tests it under all conditions and states this is a fact. It does not deal in unknowns that are not observable, etc., etc., etc. How can science prove what is not known. Spirituality, creation, anything at all. Science only deals with what is observable, what is known, and therefore states this is a fact. How do we square that science proves there's spirituality or anything whatsoever that's not known?
So look, for that, I present you, because I just read something about him. They mentioned him in the Shir. You should know today there's Association of Orthodox Jewish Scientists. If you want to understand anything about science, then there's I've quoted this one, quoted it again. Person who only knows little science takes them away from religion, for the reasons you've mentioned. Because he to begin with, takes an axiom which is not scientific at all. It's just a question of belief that what you see with your eyes and what your mind tells you to do is absolute truth. And that is, no one can prove it scientifically. The truth is that science itself, if let's take the most widely accepted by those who don't know science today, only as it says, a little science takes a person away from religion. And many people are not really scientists who find these questions so difficult because they haven't studied what the real scientists say, who know a lot of science. So therefore, the theory of evolution is accepted by many of the scientists, although nobody has ever witnessed evolution from one species to the other in any laboratory. But still it's accepted as a plausible possibility. It's a possible hypothesis, but it cannot be accepted as scientific fact, because it hasn't been seen, if that's how you define science. With the word science, it can be used in many different senses. So therefore, instead of I'm not a scientist, but I have studied quite a bit of science, and I have heard very many lectures by the greatest scientists in the world on science and religion. So I'll tell you, when we started yeshiva shortly, we used to have I had a bit of a more intellectual audience. I hope I can build it up here as well, so I could invite prominent scientists. So I invited Professor Ratkovsky, who's, by the way, he's famous for his saying that he considers the Daf Yomi a greater discovery than relativity by Einstein. And he was the greatest nuclear scientist in America. He was responsible for the first nuclear submarine to be produced in America. He was in charge of it. And he studied Torah all the time. I'll give you the lecture he wrote specifically in answer to your question. I hope we published that and many other things. I'll also give you a book by Professor Don and Aryeh Kalman, Rav Aryeh Kalman. Rav Aryeh Kalman is a partner in starting up the yeshiva, the main disciple of Rav Dessler, who's writing, who's studying now. And Professor Don was the youngest Don in Cambridge University for nuclear physics. And then he also came here to Israel. And they together published a book which is important, people ask that question, called Challenge. It's the challenge of Torah to science. And there you'll find a whole anthology from the leading scientists and also Torah scholars who deal with this question. So therefore, to go and really satisfy a person can only do it. Just like if you want to know anything about chemistry, you have to start studying if you're not a chemist, you have to start studying yourself. If you want to know about Torah and science, you have to study those who are trained experts in, who know the Torah well and know science well, and they're able to they built up a whole association, and there've been hundreds of books on that subject. But to give you that, a good synopsis is given in the lecture by him, because modern science, those who deal with top problems, they don't regard law anymore as being 100%. They don't, the laws of science, which we should see through sense perception and through logic, they are considered basically probabilities. They translate in terms of probability. So I'll quite do quantity theory and other such aspects, but I'll do that. Now, any other questions on which can be answered more simply? Mitzvah Hashem, tomorrow we'll continue. I'll give you a sheet already for the continuation on Baruch Geula.